On this edition of City Focus, the Neighborhood Development Division holds its Housing Summit. The Valdosta Fire Department receives new gear to keep them safer. The Valdosta Youth Council goes through leadership training. We encourage citizens to sign up for this year's Government 101 class and get your tickets for the 2020 Bird Supper. These stories and more on this edition of City Focus. Welcome to City Focus. I'm Marcus Meconico, the media coordinator for the City of Valdosta. This is the second episode of City Focus in 2020. City Focus is your source for what's happening within your government. These are the most important topics that are happening in the city. At the January 23rd City Council meeting, the Council approved the purchase of new water meters and technology to be used by the Utilities Department.
Finally, IBT was selected based on their technology, based on what we thought was best for the city. So some of the changes that the customers will see, initially they'll see boots on the ground. We'll have folks out changing out every water meter in the city, and that's approximately 25,000 meters that we're going to have to go out and physically touch and remove out of the system.
The meters that are currently used by the city water customers are aging and are under reading water usage.
99.9% of the cases, the meter is reading inaccurately in the customer's favor. You think about your old car, you buy a new car, when it gets 20 years old, it doesn't run faster. It starts to slow down as parts start to wear out. And the same principle applies to meters. As they age, they start to read more inaccurately, and 99% of the time they're reading they're under reading the amount of water that's being used. Another reason is we wanted to give the customers more control of what's happening in their households and in their water consumption, and give them more control of their bills.
The new technology will allow the customers to better track how much water they are using each day, which is not an option with the current system.
If they elect not to use more than 100 gallons a day and they want to be notified if they are, then they can set that limit, and they'll get a text message or an email, or they can allow the utility to contact them and let them know that they are exceeding their projected water usage.
For more information on the new water meters, contact the Utilities Department. The Neighborhood Development Division is asking for your help with its Consolidated Plan for CDBG funds. The Consolidated Plan has to be completed every 5 years.
Every 5 years, each entitlement community has to do what is called a consolidated plan. And what that is kind of like a strategic plan where you're projecting out for the next 5 years what you will do with your entitlement allotments if they should come. So it's where you have a series of meetings in your community organizations, with your municipality, all throughout your community to find out exactly what your goals are going to be for this funding for the next 5 years.
It's important to hear what citizens need, but the division will always focus on affordable housing.
Since we became an entitlement community in 2004, affordable housing has always been on the forefront. So housing reconstruction, housing rehab, just trying to keep the affordable housing stock that we have available here in Valdosta has always been on the forefront for our community. So I don't feel as though that will change. But over the years, we have, because affordable housing is so important, we can't just allot all of our funding to affordable housing because we have so many other things that are contributing factors to affordable housing and making sure that everyone in our community has access.
The most important part of this entire process is to get feedback from the public.
The federal government mandates this. This is a community development block grant program. So the community needs to be involved in making those decisions. And who would know best what is needed in the community but the community?
To give your feedback, contact Neighborhood Development at 229-671-3617. Members of the Valdosta Fire Department just received new turnout gear that will make each firefighter safer while doing their job.
Well, we're excited to receive our new gear. The new turnout gear has some features that we didn't have in the past. One being we have a firefighter's last name on the back of their coat, so we have more accountability on scene. And we also have the particulate reduction system inside the gear that actually reduces the smoke particles that's going to get skin contact on our personnel. So we're very thankful for the support of the city, be able to purchase this gear and then make new waves towards, or new efforts towards our cancer initiative.
It's like kids. We're just so excited. We can't wait to get it in use and to get it out there on the streets and show it off. You know, because we're proud. We're proud of everything that we're allowed to get through our community, through our citizens. Because it's for them. You know, it's for us. But at the end of the day, it's for us to be able to protect them better.
Chief Boutwell thanks the elected officials and residents for supporting the firefighters in every way.
My priorities, you know, along with continued customer service, is to take care of my people as far as physical and mental health. And our cancer prevention initiative continues to make strive towards better physical health. And with the gear, the mobility in the gear, the firefighters aren't fighting against the gear, so it reduces fatigue and allows them to work longer and safer.
For more information, contact the Valdosta Fire Department. The Valdosta Lowndes County Land Bank Authority met in mid-January to discuss their plans for the 2020 year. The goal is to improve on turning over land and getting them back on the tax roll. More homes and lots on the tax roll will be a boost to local government.
Partnered in the past with Habitat for Humanity, and we've done some neighborhood programs to where we build some houses, new houses in neighborhoods where they're revitalizing, where the city's been helping do some revitalization projects. And so once you get a couple of nice new houses on a neighborhood that maybe has some that are a little bit run down, the property owners all seem to take notice. And so you start seeing the yards being spruced up, houses being painted, or being sold for someone to redo. So it definitely will, it affects neighborhoods and it makes them look better, and you can almost feel the energy go up in the neighborhood when you start seeing the new housing or people taking care of their properties.
For more information on the land bank, contact Neighborhood Development at 229-671-3617. Members of the Valdosta Youth Council recently went through leadership training by John Maxwell-trained Lynn Brown. The group discussed remembering the positive parts of life.
Well, we wrote about gratitude, and we're doing a 30-day challenge of 5 things that we're thankful for.
Caleb learned things that he could take with him every day.
I'd have to take away that constructive criticism is okay, not to take personal offense to people trying to make you better as a person.
The entire group is thankful for the exercises presented by Brown.
Me and the members of the Valdosta Youth Council just wanted to thank Ms. Lynn Brown for coming out and teaching us some leadership skills today. Thank you.
For more information on the Valdosta Youth Council, follow them on Facebook. Welcome back to City Focus. We have with us newly elected mayor of Valdosta, Scott James Matheson. Welcome to the show, Mayor.
Thank you, Marcus.
Okay. I'll probably just move it slowly. Sorry, we'll start over. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to City Focus. We have with us newly elected Mayor of Valdosta, Scott James Matheson. Welcome to the show, Mayor.
Thank you, Marcus.
This is the first of many times we'll see you in some fashion here on City Focus. You could have served Valdosta in many different ways. What made you want to be mayor?
I have served Valdosta in many different ways, and I think just the title's changing. It's pretty much what I do every single day except the decision-making process. So I'll step up for the next 4 years and see if I'm as smart as I thought I was all the last 30 years of service to the community.
Okay. And I guess, how excited are you to get started?
Yeah, very. Matter of fact, they gave us no grace period. As soon as the election was over, I did 2 straight weeks worth of meetings, individual meetings with the council, an hour-long meeting with John Gale, who was very gracious in transition, a couple hours with Mark Barber, the city manager, and then the development authority. No, we did the airport authority and we did the housing authority as well. Yeah. And more meetings to come, obviously.
Obviously. Now, we're taping a couple days before you're actually being sworn in, and this won't air until after. But what are your plans that first day after you're sworn in?
Exhale. They got a busy schedule for me in January and a busy schedule in February. There's the Georgia City Summit at the end of January that's going to take up about 4 or 5 days of my time. And then in February, we have newly elected officials training, and then a hat that you and I both have worn for a while. I'll roll right into Bird Supper, which is now a city. Yeah, we bring Leadership Lounge up for that, but it's now a city function for me, and then we'll roll into. I'll stay up there with them for that program day, the legislative day for Leadership Lounge.
Yeah, absolutely. That Bird Suppers are a big deal for all of our elected officials and anybody who has any stake in Valdosta and Lowndes County. Now, everyone that's held this position has some kind of a learning curve. And you talked about some of your meetings. Anything else you're doing to make that learning curve smaller before things get started here in January?
I think my only I did not know that moment so far has been the Housing Authority. They opened my eyes to a lot of stuff as well. Obviously, I talked about tiny house, transitional housing, and some other things during the campaign. They're very excited about all that. Hiroshima over at LAMP is very excited about that. But also, I got a learning curve about our current housing situation as well. So that was I haven't met a stranger yet in all the sit-downs, which is nice because of what I do for a living and have done for the last 30 years. These people are friends and neighbors and have been guests on the show. So everybody I've sat down with so far has been a familiar face and name. So that helps with that learning curve as well. That's why I keep saying I hope to hit the ground running the day after, and as you just asked as well.
And what are some of your goals year one?
Well, before I get to programs and new stuff, the old stuff, I don't have to reinvent the wheel when we have a Parks and Rec authority that gives us an incredible return on investment. If we give them $1, they give us $1 of quality of life.
Exactly.
That same dollar, they then give back to us 2.5 times over by bringing bringing tournaments and stuff to those fields that they've now built for us as residents. Our development authority, they're coming off the best year ever. And I mean previous directors and previous names when they were the industrial authority. As development authority, they just came off the best year ever. Started with the Georgia Beer Company, ended with our Glass Yamamura, and a whole bunch of expansion and the old Robalo plan in between. So I don't know. I'm going to serve them in any way I can, help them in any way I can. When they come off a year like that, I think that's just something, the momentum you want to keep going. And then our tourism authority. How about that bunch that's been nearly invisible for a lot of years? Now, when I was coming back from the mountains over the last couple of days, everywhere along the interstate is Visit Valdosta. They're doing a paid push on Facebook that I saw the entire time I was on vacation. Visit Valdosta. Yeah. When you come back in, they're marketing to areas like Jacksonville and otherwise. And that's a wonderful addition. Yeah. So I'll help.
The director there is doing a great job.
So that bunch is hit the ground running in 2020 as well. So I'm excited for them.
Okay. And I guess, we have all these great things and I'm sure all these great plans we have. You said you sat down with Mayor Gale. Any words of advice that he gave you that you think's gonna?
Yeah, he started a great string that I heard from Sonny Vickers and that I heard from Ben Norton as well during individual meetings. Each told me to strike a great work, life, mayoral, father, husband balance in life.
Yeah.
I just thought that was the best advice I could possibly hear. I'm a little obsessive compulsive, so when I grab a hold of a project, if that project is nearing the finish line, I'm going to give it everything I got. And I hope not to the detriment of my business. I own 4 radio stations that I run every single day, not to the detriment of my family and my children as well. So I ask them all, would you continue to remind me of that every 6 months to strike that life balance as well? That was the best piece of advice I came away with.
And that's going to be very important because you're going to have endless calls and emails and phones.
Already have.
And I've heard Mayor Gale said that this is a part-time job, but I work it like a full-time job often.
Yep. And I'll ask you to remind me to strike that balance as well, Marcus, every time we sit down together.
Well, you'll see me every day. I'm on the 3rd floor with you.
Good deal.
Well, is there anything else you want to add or tell people about, I guess, the upcoming year and what you plan to do in the next 4 years?
Yeah, I'll tell you what we're going to realize in the first 12 months, period, end of story, is public transit for the city of Valdosta. Mark Barber has made me that promise as well. It was a promise I made during the campaign. It's been a conversation for 30 years, people sitting down with me telling me where they're heading, what they're going to do, and it's just never got done. So in some form or fashion, for a modern day approach, we're going to have public transit in the city of Valdosta.
Okay. Well, there you go. There's another thing there that we have on our books there we're trying for. Well, Mayor, I want to thank you for coming in, and we appreciate what you plan to do, and we hope everything is successful here in the city of Valdosta as you're going into your first term here and there.
Well, make me look good doing it, Marcus, please.
All right. And we'll be back here on City Focus.
Hello? No, you're kidding. No. I've told her 1,000 times not to do that. Oh, I'm so mad right now. Oh, ma'am, are you aware your stove is on? Yeah. Cooking while distracted is actually quite dangerous. Really? Just one pot? It is. In fact, you could set your whole house on fire just cooking in that single pot. I never realized that. Well, now you know. Well, I'm gonna pay attention now.
Dominic Henry is a rookie at the Valdosta Police Department. He is part of a new crop of officers that began with the department in 2019.
I got hired on in May, and then I went to the police academy in July, graduated in September. I've actually been working on the road since October, so I'm still fairly new. Obviously, I'm not gonna know everything, and there are some moments where I'm just kind of like, wow, what's going on? But you just gotta learn to kind of settle down, calm down, and think, because you know that you've been taught how to do everything. I do like getting out, and like talking to people. I love stopping cars. I love getting to stop cars and just make sure I keep the roads safe. We have a lot of accidents around here, and maybe if I just step out and say, hey, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, stop at that stop sign, it might help make these roads a little bit safer.
The Noonan, Georgia native came to Valdosta as a student at Valdosta State University. He loved the area so much that he decided to stay. He first learned about the VPD by taking the Citizens Police Academy class.
When I first moved down here to Valdosta, it just kind of felt like a homey environment. Everybody around here was just, nice and welcoming, and it kind of reminds me of Noonan, just a little bit larger. And so, I really liked the area, and then I came and did my internship here, and I just fell in love with the department and the city.
Henry loves the job and has learned a lot from the veteran officers. He also believes the younger officers can bring a new perspective to police work.
Whenever somebody retires, you lose a wealth of knowledge, and respect. And these guys know a lot of stuff. They know a lot of people. So there's a challenge in, you having to go out and learn all this stuff, get to know all these people as well as they do. But at the same time, being new, I think it's also good for us because we can bring a whole kind of new dynamic to policing. So it's kind of a give or take. You do lose something, but you also gain something having a lot of younger officers too.
Henry is looking forward to being with the department for a while, and he has plans on what he wants to do in the future.
I would like to be a canine handler. I would like to be able to move into a position that allows me to be more proactive as opposed to sometimes being more reactive. and that would allow me to, kind of expand my knowledge. And I like doing things that not everybody has a knowledge of how to do. And I feel like it would be a great way to challenge myself in learning a new skill set, not only for myself, but for another officer.
Working with the community is one of his favorite parts of the job, and he believes that the community makes his job easier.
We work for them, without the community, we're nothing. So, it's really important to be in tune as to what's going on in your community, and just getting to know the people that you police, because it's not us versus them, we're all one. So that's why I think it's really important to know everything that's going on in your city.
On the next edition of Next Gen Valdosta, we meet another employee from the city of Valdosta. The Valdosta Youth Council held their regularly scheduled January meeting in council chambers. The group listened to and learned all about the police and fire departments from Chief Manahan and Chief Boutwell. After discussing the departments, the group got the opportunity to get an up-close look at some of the vehicles and equipment that members of the department uses each day. The VYC looks forward to visiting the Capitol in February and our local municipal court for their regular February meeting. Citizens and local residents who want an inside look at their city government are urged to sign up for the 11th annual Valdosta Government 101 Citizens Orientation, which takes place from April 6th to May 18th. The program is an initiative of the Valdosta Mayor and City Council. Applications are being accepted by the City of Valdosta through March 13th. Participants of the program will meet on 7 consecutive Mondays from 5:30 to 8:30. Those who complete the program will gain a deeper understanding and appreciation of their local government through face-to-face interactions with city department heads and other community leaders. Application forms are available at Valdosta City Hall, the Customer Service Center, and Public Information Office. For more information, contact Public Information Officer Ashlyn Johnson at 229-259-3548. The 2020 Bird Supper, sponsored by the Lowndes County Board of Commissioners and the City of Valdosta, will be held on February 12, 2020 at the Georgia Railroad Depot in Atlanta, Georgia. The event allows hundreds of local businesses, professionals, and government personnel to travel to Atlanta each year to meet with state officials for a dinner of quail and imported conversation. Tickets may be purchased for $50 each at Valdosta City Hall or the Lowndes County Judicial Administrative Complex. For more information, contact the Lowndes County Public Information Officer Paige Dukes at 229-671-2400 or City of Valdosta Public Information Officer Ashlyn Johnson at 229-259-3548. Valdosta Main Street is encouraging everyone to visit downtown Valdosta during the month of February for its Love Downtown Valdosta events. Love Downtown Valdosta is a month-long promotion encouraging people to shop, dine, and explore locally. For every $25 spent in downtown during the month of February, you'll be entered to win up to $250 in downtown giveaways. Earlier in the show, we told you how to get tickets to the Bird Supper. The Bird Supper is a long-standing tradition in Lowndes County where members of the community meet with state elected officials in Atlanta to discuss the needs of our area. All stakeholders in our area should make the trip to make sure our concerns are heard. This concludes another edition of City Focus. Be sure to visit our website, valdostacity.com. Like us on Facebook, Valdosta, City Without Limits. Also like our Valdosta Youth Council page. Follow us on Twitter at City of Valdosta, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Metro 17 Valdosta, to watch City Focus on demand. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time here on City Focus.